For the first time this season, all 7 Patriot League football teams will be in action this weekend, including 5 contests against Ivy League schools and a pair of games on the Patriot League network. Holy Cross will kick it all off on Friday against Harvard. Bucknell is the last of the undefeateds in the Patriot League, while Fordham and Holy Cross will enter Week 4 at 2-1 in the non-league standings. Holy Cross and Harvard will open up the Week 4 slate at 7 p.m. on Friday in Cambridge, Massachusetts. The two teams played in a triple overtime thriller last season, with Harvard closing out the 41-35 win. Holy Cross hasn't won at Harvard since 2000. Georgetown will host Brown at noon on Saturday, and the Hoyas will try to make it 2 in a row after defeating Marist on the road last week. Quarterback Kyle Nolan accounted for a pair of touchdowns in the win. Number 18 Fordham will travel across town to Columbia for a 12:30 p.m. kickoff. And the Rams have won the last 4 contests between the two teams, including last year's 52-7 win. Freshman running back Chase Edmonds, who ran for 231 yards and 4 touchdowns last week, knows that it will require the same kind of effort they put forth in their bounce-back win over Rhode Island.
We got to dominate the line of scrimmage, definitely like we did against Rhode Island. I believe that Columbia, you can't look over a team like it's not like we're preparing for Villanova, as certain people look at it, but nonetheless, it's another game, so focus on the process, just prepare well, and I think we'll be all right.
Lehigh will remain on the road this week, traveling to Yale for a 1 p.m. kickoff. The Mountain Hawks are still searching for their first win of the season, and history is on their side as they've won 8 straight against Ivy League opponents. Colgate will host the lone Patriot League versus Ivy League game to be streamed live and for free on the Patriot League network this weekend, as they will welcome in Cornell for a 1 p.m. kickoff on Saturday. The Raiders are 0-2 after a tough road schedule to start the season, but Coach Dan Hunt's squad has shown that they can compete at a high level.
The team has kind of proven they can play with a lot of people. There were definitely some positives for the middle part of that game. I thought we really were rolling on both sides of the football. I think the learning lesson of how to put a football game away and how to win that game, overall, I was pleased with the effort. I'm pleased with the intensity in which we're playing with. And, it's a tough one to swallow being that close, but we'll get better from that.
Quarterback Jake Melville had a strong game against Delaware, rushing for 118 yards and a touchdown last Saturday, and he's beginning to settle into the starting role for the Raiders.
He really did a nice job improving from week 1 to week 2. I thought the first week against Ball State, he didn't involve himself in the offense enough. He didn't have a lot of rush yards and wasn't really operating the option game in as depth as we would have liked to. And then this week, he got much more involved in what we're doing offensively. Obviously, the numbers were there for him in the rushing department, but when the quarterback run is really going, that makes the rest of what we do even more efficient. It was just nice to see him grow that way. Still work to be done. We got to be able to hit those deep balls at times, but definitely a huge jump from week 1 to week 2.
Melville and the Raiders will now open at home against a team that hasn't played a game yet, and that can be challenging for opposing teams.
A lot of people say, oh, you have the advantage because you've played a couple games. Well, we also have 2 games on film that I know they can look at where we don't really have anything to go on. So we're really concentrating this week on both sides of the ball and then the special teams game and just being sound with what we do and being able to handle anything we might see from them.
Saturday's game will be live on PatriotLeague.tv, and the highlights will be available on Monday's edition of Patriot League 360. Bucknell will head back out on the road for a 1 p.m. kickoff at Sacred Heart. The two squads are among 14 undefeateds left at the FCS level. Sacred Heart won 16-0 last season, but the Bison bring in an offensive attack that includes one of the league's top rushers in C.J. Williams. The game will be streamed live for free on NEC Front Row. The final game of the week pits Lafayette against number 13 William & Mary. The Tribe won at Lafayette 34-6 last season, but neither that nor the ranking will dissuade the Leopards as they beat a pair of top 15 teams last season. For the complete schedule of events on the PLN, log on to PatriotLeague.tv. And for more information on this weekend's games, log on to PatriotLeague.com. For the Patriot League Network, I'm Jimmy Johnson.